Hey guys, hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I am glad you are here. Today we're going to take a quick look at actually my long-term kind of thoughts, feelings, and kind of quickly go through this particular GiantMouse knife. But before we do, I'm going to ask if you would please hit that subscribe button below. I just ask that you do that and hit the bell notification. It notifies YouTube that you're actually a human, that you're interested in my content, and it allegedly helps my content be exposed to other people who might like EDC type content. I'd appreciate it. It'll also notify you guys when I release updated content and when I go live on my live streams and we talk about this stuff in real time. So this again is the GiantMouse Ace Jutland. I've kind of been doing several GiantMouse videos lately and have kind of rediscovered my GiantMouse collection with a couple of new additions like the Atelier, which has either just been reviewed or is going to be reviewed very soon, depending on what order these come out in, and then this Ace Jutland, which to me, when I saw this knife when it first came out, it reminded me a lot. I just gotten back from Blade Show, and it reminded me in shape only of the Benchmade Tagged Out, the real thin knife that's come out from Benchmade, kind of the Hunter Skinner. And then you read on GiantMouse's site about the Jutland and the styling, and you can see that the purpose of the knife to be a light Skinner, good use EDC knife, the purpose and the design kind of came from the same need, right? The same application of a knife. So when you're talking about a deep clip point blade with a nice swedge that would be what I would consider nothing less than very sharp, that makes for just a great field knife, a great EDC knife, and a great hunting knife. I think of it kind of like a small game Skinner if you're trout fishing and you need that kind of thing and you don't mind using a folder for that, which I don't. However, I don't do a lot of trout fishing anymore. That was me throwing it back. That was not any kind of light detent. This is a fall or not or late lockup, or should I say late detent. I'm chewing on my words, guys. I apologize. I'll let you guess when this is being recorded time-wise. But in either case, the Ace Jutland, if you've seen kind of my GiantMouse collection, it follows this colorway pretty closely. I love the Green Canvas Micarta from GiantMouse. This knife, unlike my other GiantMouse, do have this really nice flipper besides the finger hole, which is what I'm going to use to deploy it probably 80% of the time. But this flipper's done really well. As you can tell here, it is kind of radiused, and it has jimping that go right up to this radius point. So could it come around? Possibly, but does it need to? Not at all, because you get plenty of positive traction, and it just takes the slightest bit of effort to fly that blade out. So the addition of that little low profile flipper, I kind of find to be cool. It makes the knife a little more fidgety, and if you're not one of the fans of a thumb flick or a middle finger flick, you will appreciate the fact that it's a flipper. It's a light knife. It's got the same construction as the Grand, as the Atelier, or the Baby Grand as I call it. This Jutland is also Elmax blade steel, which is again one of the reasons that I was so attracted to it. And let me grab a page from Pew Pew Digest, and we will try to cut paper. Find something that doesn't look pew-pewy. Why don't we just work on one of those so we don't show anything creepy. But this knife is got a lot of bite. I've not put it on a stone. I've not put it on a strop. This is again one of those factory edges. You've seen the Baby Grand Atelier video yet? I'm not sure, but I kind of talked about my experience with GiantMouse factory edges that I've been privy to, and then I talked about also how well my GiantMouse M390 Biblio sharpened up and how well it's performed, and I've got its angle laid back. When I put these guys on a stone, these Elmax knives, I'll probably give you guys a report on how that worked out. But very, very sharp. And I didn't do that justice. A lot of that was cutting air because I didn't want to show pictures of the pew. But this knife is very, very sharp. It does have, because it's more of a skinner, so it's going to have a little bit more aggressive edge, so you can hear it tear through that paper. So it could use definitely a strop, but in terms of everyday cutting, it's going to be fine. But that is the GiantMouse Ace Jutland. This is a knife, guys, that follows the GiantMouse kind of theme of you've got this pocket clip that works wonderfully well. It goes in and out of pocket like nobody's business. I don't have to use two hands. It doesn't shred my pants. It's just a really functional clip. And then again, if you don't like this clip, and you can go to the Lynch website. Lynch makes a replacement clip in the same finish. I think this would just be called stonewashed, and it goes in where the wire clip does, so you can have a clip that's deep carry Lynch style. So I mean, just a mad win. Action on it's great. It's on bearings. Elmax is one of my favorite steels for what I use a knife for, which is very urban in terms of not hard use. I'm not doing a lot of feather sticking. I'm not doing a lot of batoning in my daily. You know, I'm cutting cardboard. I'm opening packages. I'm doing stuff like that, and this knife does it well. And I've been pleased again with the inset liner locks. You've got a titanium inside set liner lock that works very well. I have great access to it. I've got very positive lockup at about 30-35%. You can see, where's my flashlight? You can see the tang. I don't know why this thing flashes under camera, but you've got a good angle and a really positive lockup, but really smooth action. And it is what I would consider 100% drop shut. And super positive lockup. There's no slop. There's no up and down. I've just been real pleased with it. Let's do a couple of quick size comparisons, and then we'll throw the Ben Peterson ruler and maybe the Grateful Panic calipers on it. But real quickly, let's look at it next to the Cold Steel 4Max, to which it's going to be, of course, smaller than. We'll look at it next to the Ben Banter's Baby, Civivi Baby Banter by Ben Peterson. And that, as I made a comment on the Atelier, that colorway is not by plan. They just all happen to kind of be in the same hue of green. But I have a feeling that this particular knife is going to be bigger than our Benchmade Bug Out. But I have a feeling it's going to come in close to our Paramilitary 2, maybe. I was a little bit wrong, guys. So it's bigger than the Bug Out. It's a little smaller than the Paramilitary 2. I'm carrying a full-size Hinder Eclipse, to which it's a little smaller than. So it's smaller than the Eclipse and then the Para 2 by, I'm going to say, guys, just a tiny bit. You know, if I pull that back to its lowest point, I'm going to say they're about within the same size. It's going to be about 1/4 of an inch. And let's get a couple of quick measurements before I let you all go and tell you my final thoughts on this knife. And they're good. If I measure from the front here, it comes in at 3.5-inch blade. The handle's going to come in at just a scotch under 6 inches. That's going to be between 3/4 and 6 inches, 5 3/4 and 6 inches, whatever that measurement is. Remember, I told you guys early on, I don't read rulers that well. But if I hold it just right, I can call it coming in at 4 3/4. Excuse me, it's 4 3/4 on the handle width and 3.5 on the blade. And then if we want to use Brother Grateful Panic's calipers to see what our handle width is, I think it's going to come in about 0.46. No, this is going to be bigger than the Atelier. This is 0.53 handle width. And our blade stock, I'm thinking it's going to be 0.14 if it matches the Atelier. Let's see, 0.149, 0.147. So, yep. About the same blade stock, you've got this nice swedge here. Again, that's probably comes in handy when if you want to use it to pierce or to cut if you're, skinning little animals, which I won't be, or if you're, just making those cuts that you make on your daily. This is a great knife, and it carries very light, guys. It's got the titanium backspacer that I love, that has this positive jimping on the heel, which helps hold it in your hand. In my medium to large size hand, you can see that I've got the familiar GiantMouse jimping on this blade. It holds my hand in great purchase right there. I've got this trigger that I can choke up on. I can hold it, get great coverage right there. For more detailed cuts, y'all know the drill. It is a clip point, so it's going to be harder to do those utility cuts, but for opening packages and for what I use this knife for, it's going to be just fine. While we look at the sharpening choil and the plunge grind, it comes in right about there. So you've got several sharpenings. I don't know if you can see that with between my fingernails. Bloop. Anyway, and Jared Neves, if he ever watches my video, he can comment if I'm reading these wrong, because I think the way that I look at this, I interpret it, is where this blade, where this plunge becomes the same thickness as the primary grind. That's where you want to see. It's not where this line is here. If you notice, this tapers down to right here. That's where the blade stock becomes the same thickness as the grind. And that's where I try to look, whether you guys can see it or not, but that's where I try to see how much I have before I have to cut something in. And then as Jared points out, he looks at where the stop pin is. So this one, by cutting right here, you are not impacting the stop pin because it doesn't fall right here. See, the stop pin on this particular knife is right here behind the flipper tab. So as long as I don't go take material off of back there, I'm not going to impede it. So you could cut a larger choil in, but you wouldn't need to on this knife. I really say that in case Jared catches a video like this, somebody comment and tell me if I'm on point or off point. But when I think about it and how it would be on a stone, when I hear about how it gets so difficult to keep it flat, I know when I'm doing it with my TS Prof 360, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So anyway, guys, if I lost this knife, would I buy it tomorrow? Absolutely. I love it. It's Elmax. It, to me, is a better option for me, not for you necessarily, than the Bug Out Tagged Out. Tagged Out. I'm a fan of the Bug Out Tagged Out. I don't own one yet or Tagged Out, but I'm sure as I see some cooler mods and some, come out, I might buy one. I'd like to have one to compare it to this, but it's just kind of not my jam right now. I've enjoyed the GiantMouses. I will tell you that I love them. The ones I've had have all been good. I'll ask you one last time, if you're so inclined, hit the thumbs up or hit the thumbs down. If you like the content, please join in and subscribe to the channel. It'll notify you when I put out new EDC, knife reviews, knife overviews, thoughts. It'll notify you when I go live. It'll let YouTube know you're not a bot, that you're interested in my content. It'll let me know that I'm doing something right. And hopefully if you guys leave comments saying, hey, John, we'd rather you do this type of stuff, or guess what, this knife's not really in our jam. We'd be interested in seeing something about this. I may have that knife in my collection, and I've also got 2 local friends who are BFFs, who you guys know in the community. They'll remain nameless until I feature their knives, but it's Dark Gravity and A to Z EDC, so they won't remain nameless. So there are a lot of knives I can pull from to give you guys content with. Again, I'm trying not to get to where knives just come in, because I want to review knives and let you know how they make me feel. So for me to really have a visceral reaction or feeling, I've got to seek them out. And I've done that. I've gotten some cool knives that I've gotten in for the channel. This is a teaser that you guys will be seeing that aren't really my normal jam, but I know that they're good knives, and it might be something that people are interested in. So I need input from you guys. I need you to look out for the guy or girl to your left. Please look out for the guy or girl to your right. Look out for one another. Keep loving your heart. Keep it positive. I know it gets tough sometimes. Believe me, I know it gets tough sometimes. Keep loving your heart. Move forward with debate before hate. I love you all. Peace.